Hey everyone, this is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please do subscribe and smack that notification bell hard like She-Hulk so you don't miss any new uploads. Also, please do like and share this video with others so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Now this is Unnatural number 3 from Image Comics. It's the English translation of and I cannot pronounce her last name. I think Mirka. She's an Italian writer and artist, and she does work for different publishers. This is a variant cover to issue 3. I like it because of what this pillow says. Not approved by the Comics Code Authority. Now, a few decades ago, there used to be something called the Comics Code Authority, where the big publishers, any publisher, had to go through them in order for their comic book to hit the stands. And if the comic book in question did not meet the standards of the Comic Code Authority, then it would not hit the stands. That's a little, trivia and explains why the pillow's there on the cover. Now this starts off with a flashback, which is something that we saw in issue 2. It's back when Leslie Pig was just a little girl, and she saw her mother in bed with another man that was not her daddy. And she's running, she's very upset, and she crashes into a vase, and her mom hears it, and she's huddled there on the floor thinking, Mom was joking, she had to be, she wasn't serious. Then, ouch, my hand, it hurts. And then her mom comes up behind her, laying her hand on her shoulder and saying, Leslie, Mom? And then she gets very authoritative on her. Whatever you think you saw or heard, I don't want to know, because you didn't see it. You hear me? And all this while, little Leslie is crying her eyes out, because you can see her, wiping her eye right there. She's just a young girl, and she's trying to process everything she saw. And this is what really got me. When the mother says this, you don't say a word of this to anyone, understand? Now the next part of what her mom says really hits home if you look at what she says carefully. If you do, Daddy and I could lose everything. The house, our job, or even you. And if you notice the order in which she mentions everything, she says, the house, our jobs, and even you. So little Leslie is dead last on the list. And the mom says, promise me you'll keep quiet, Leslie. Promise me. She says, oh, okay, Mom. I promise. Then back to the present. She's 25 years old now. And by the law of her country, she is supposed to be married by age 25 if she wants to avoid, paying higher taxes because she's single. Anyway, one of these doctors remarks, maybe she is a little thick, but apart from that, Miss Leslie Blair is perfectly suitable. And that's the this one says, so you say, doctor, but we'd still like to run the usual tests. And she had to go to this appointment, because if she didn't, then the law would come for her. We can't have the species getting weaker because we let some bad hereditary into the mix. Oh, oh man, that's harsh. I mean, not only is she forced to marry within her own species, which is pigs, she cannot marry a dog, cat, mouse, and the law of her land is she has to marry within her species, and it has to be a man. Cannot be another female pig. It has to be a male pig. So not only does she have that imposed on her, I mean, she has to hear, this bad hereditary remark. And that's a lot of stress for one person to receive. No matter if you believe in, same-sex marriage or not. And I'm not going to give my opinion on it because my opinion is not part of the story. I'm just saying, not only does she have that she can't marry another female pig, she has to marry a male pig, too. She cannot marry a male dog, cat, mouse, gopher. She cannot marry out of her own species, so she is confined into what she can do. We're trying to naturally select here, and one of the doctors says, looks like she's average on the stress test. Well, they're putting a lot of stress on her right here, because in one respect I have to laugh at this panel, in another I understand how being hit with so many questions simultaneously is extremely stressful. She said, one doctor says, "Are you menstruating regularly?" She's like, Another says, "Are you sexually active? When did you last have intercourse?" Meaning natural intercourse, that is, same species. We have to ask, and this one, how have your bowel movements been? I mean, literally, it's funny, and yet it's not. When you're being hit with all those questions at the same time, it's stressful. Then across the page, we see, how is that relevant? She's thinking. And, of course, you can guess what happened there. And this doctor says, well, you didn't need to go that far. Well, too late now, right? And then they lay her back and probing her ear. "Stay still, woman. How can I fix those horrible eyebrows if you keep squirming?" She's like, okay. Then they could have been probing her ear, but I was wrong. They're working on her eyebrows because they wanted to make her into the perfect, suitable date for someone. And someone says, too chaste. And plus it makes her look fat. Oh, that's something that, was not necessary. No, makes her look too easy. And she says, "Guys, can I say what I think for a minute?" No! We can't waste time on that. Oh, so even her opinion is not relevant. And this one says, "Come on, there's still a ton of dresses to try on, and we haven't even started the lingerie." And you see her let out a very deep sigh, sort of like something like this. An exasperated sigh. "Maybe we lose the piercings so aggressive and vulgar. And this one says, keep them, it's good. And what's this weird hair? Blue? What's that trying to say? Weird is all the rage these days. She's allowed to keep her piercings and her blue hair. Okay then, just a little makeup, a brush through that blue mess, and we're done. They have to keep going on about her hair. But this is what they turned her into. A very attractive young lady. Finally, you're ready for your potential dream partner and ready to mate. And she says, yay. Because she's not excited because she's being forced into this by her government. And you know that's the problem. But what if I don't like him? She says. Then I hope and then this dude says, then I hope you're secretly rich and enjoy paying big time taxes. So what happens now? Now we wait for your driver. I mean, he should be here. And then we see this off to the right here. Oink, oink. You know, it's a little joke I think that Mirka put in there because she is, after all, a pig. You know, instead of honk, honk, oink, oink. Oh, there he is. And she is escorted into the limousine, and she says, thanks, bye then. And this guy says bye, more like farewell, I'd say. Phew, I'd rather quit than see her again. Never seen such an insufferable pig. Some of this is really funny. Then over the page, she's nervous as can be, so she's talking to her drivers, who you can't see the eyes of because this one has dark glasses. This one has hair right in front of its or her face. I think it's a her. And she says, where are we going? Picking up your date. Then we'll take you to the restaurant we've chosen for you to. So, you know, this group chooses even the restaurant. And she's trying to remain positive. Good! It's my first time in the program. And it's my first time in a limousine. Hey, it's a night of first times. And then she says, I'm Leslie. What are your? And this guy says, almost and there. And so she starts thinking, you know, what if the guy's like really huge and fat and stuff, and maybe she has all these doubts. And then she gets out of the car and sees her date. And she thinks he's hot. And she's just going gaga over him. If you can see her eyes, you just like see how wide her eyes have gotten. She's just amazed at how attractive he is. And anyway, they're off to their date. Now, her roommate, Trish, if you remember, in the previous issue, went off to find somebody that wrote a book about something that sort of described the dreams Leslie had been having. So she rings the doorbell to this home, and she introduces herself. Says, hi, I'm looking for Mr. Gambots. I don't want to sound rude, but I found this address on the internet and I'm a huge fan. Well, she doesn't introduce her, she doesn't give her name, but she makes a, introduction. And he says, rude, not at all. Considering the condition he's in, my father could use the attention. Come in. So she walks in and she says, wow, so many weird objects and they're so cute. And he says, my father loved to travel. That's how he wrote all of his books. Dad, you've got a visitor. Good. Let her in. And she says, good evening. She's very polite. I believe she's a mouse. Yes, because look at those ears. I hope I'm not bothering you. He says, are you kidding? It's nice to have someone to bore with my old chats. My son's heard them all twice, after all. And so he leaves his dad, to talk with her, and he figures, and he asks, what brings you here? She says, I found this book, and it's one of the fairy tales is really interesting, and about a girl with the blue hair. He says, fairy tales? He says, they're not fairy tales or simple love stories. This is the mythology of an ancient civilization, and I can't pronounce it. And she said, never heard of them. And the man says, that's normal. Only a few copies of their myths still exist. They speak of a type of love frowned upon in today's society. And like I've said, in this society, it's you have to marry within your species. If you're a monkey, then you must marry a monkey. If you're a dog, you must marry a dog. And it has to be, if you're a male dog, then you must marry a female dog, and and so on. And the man says, many say the people and the town itself never existed. They wish that was true. And so he tells her about this race of people, and he says the protagonist of his book is one of the brides. Her name is Bess, and she has blue hair. And he says, that box over there should have my notes and research. Take them, please. She says, really? And he says, absolutely. It's not like I'll be around to use them soon, because apparently he's on his deathbed. And then he comes out and says, look, I know you're not a fan. Not really. I don't have any of those left. Because, people will consider him to be a conspiracy theorist. Like people who talk about missing time, flat Earth, and all that stuff. And then she admits that she was researching this for a friend. And then we get back to the rest. Now we're at the restaurant, and it's interesting. The food, they do have some food here, but it's not really focused on that much. I think it's sushi, but they do keep drinking, and he keeps talking about the mating program, and Leslie is starting to wonder about everything he's saying. And then they're almost about to kiss. And she says, am I dreaming? And she says, no, because of course not, because in her dream, In her fantasy, her lover is a wolf, and she's a pig. And she's thinking, wait, what am I thinking? Am I crazy? Jones is one of my species. He's cute, he likes me, and he's right here. He's real. Sorry, she says. Maybe we're going a little too fast. What's wrong with me, she thinks. I'm so stupid. He says I didn't mean to go too fast. And then you can see the change in his expression here. You know, more of a sinister type look to his face. He says, "You okay, Les?" Because then it starts to sink into her. Did I drink too much? My head isn't quite spinning, but I'm so tired. And Jones keeps talking about the program. And then she gets up and says, "Look, Jones, you're a really great guy, but I think the program got it wrong." So she's basically telling him goodbye. What? Everything was fine a minute ago. We were almost kissing. Then she walks out, and this zebra says, "Miss, where do you think you're going?" And she says, "Don't worry about it. The reproduction program is paying for everything, tips included." And he says, "You can't leave yet." And he grabs her. And she pulls away. And she starts to run. But then everybody in the restaurant, I mean everybody all around the restaurant, they get up like, automatic to stop her. And then her date, the charming male pig, says, "Close all the exits now. I want her rounded up for the sanctuary." And so she is scared as can be. And she's thinking, it's a joke, right? And she runs and runs and, evades him. And Jones gets out his gun. And then he says something down here. Failure is not an option. Not after everything we've done to infiltrate the program. So apparently this reproduction program has been compromised by an outside group. And she's running. She's trying to escape, but she can't get the window open. And all of a sudden, everything starts to go blurry, and she blacks out. Then when she wakes up, she's in a weird place. And this strange fella says the albino has slept for too long, trapped for centuries. And she's dressed up like a bride, veil and everything. And it says, the time has come for him to join his bride. Soon both of them will be as one. And that they will await the full awakening of his power. And so apparently, she's going to be sacrificed or something. The pig girl wasn't properly sedated. Maybe we should... No. The chosen girl will only be 25 once. We don't have a choice. Well, she just turned 25, so you have a full year. But anyway. Then all of a sudden, she wakes up again? In her own apartment? So where was she really? I mean, it's a little bit confusing. This is the kind of good storytelling that, the big two are missing out on. So she wakes up in her own apartment and she thinks it must have been a dream, and she goes looking for her roommate, Trish. But apparently, Trish's room is entirely cleaned out there. See? And she tries to get her friend, Derek, on the phone. And he says he'll be right over. And he rings the doorbell. And she opens the door. And, well, it's not good news. It's bad news. But I want to show you some of the art, and this beautiful art. And that's the advertisement for the next issue, which is already out. There's another piece of art, and this is the woman who created the comic book, and it shows her Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook right there. And this picture is of Trish. You know, this is sketching of Trish. Very beautiful. So, I have to say that the pacing for this book was excellent. It kept me interested all the time. You know, from panel to panel, I wondered what's going to happen next. She's written great characters. And she's telling a great story. This was a wonderful issue to read. And this is issue 3. Now issue 4 is currently out, and I have it, but haven't got to read it just yet. So I highly recommend you go out and you buy Unnatural from Image Comics, because it's a good story. When I can recommend something, I am happy to say it's a good story. There are some comic books that are good only because of the story, and some only because of the cover. But this one has a marriage of both. Good cover, good story. So, what did you guys think of this? I mean, if you bought it, then you probably bought the variant. Leave your comments down below, and if you're new here, please do subscribe and smash that notification bell hard like She-Hulk so you don't miss any new uploads. And also, please do like this and share it with others so they can enjoy it as well. I am Michael for Spirit Comics. Till next time, to readers.